Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CFO Podcast Brief. This is a conversation today to discuss how a CFO has evolved post-pandemic. The various emerging trends around how CFOs have reimagined their approach to compliance, also their role and impact towards tech innovation and how they're using tech innovation to make compliances more efficient in their organization. Today, we're very lucky to have Mr. Maneesh Goel. He's a CFO who's one of the leading change makers in the area of financial technology. He's been working as the CFO of PayU for many years. I know for a fact that, as fintech has evolved, with regulations from regulators as well as using technology for compliance, I think we're very lucky to have him today. So thank you, Manish, for joining us today.
Thank you, Arpinder. Look forward to this conversation and thank you for having me.
Well, thanks a lot, Manish. So, Manish, just want to start with a quick warm-up question, as I would put it. As a CFO, how has your role evolved over the last few years? Has the pandemic brought about any changes in the role as you see it?
All right, so let's talk about the PayU role itself because you used that to introduce me. I think it's been just about 6 years since I started, and I came in at a time when we were a small business, and we've seen a lot change. So I think my role started with focusing on the basics, which is processes and controls. Handling the citrus transaction, the acquisition that we had just done. Moving on to strategic direction to the business, and then finally over the years supporting how we handle the growth, how we venture into new areas, started credit, many other things. Specifically talking of the pandemic, I think as it struck, I think continuity of the business, dealing with uncertainty, I think were the biggest challenges. But as we went into it, how do we manage costs? How do we manage cash? How do we ensure that anything which is unforeseen so far is managed well? How do we keep the well-being of our employees as our focus? I think some of those things were really the key.
No, thanks a lot for that, Manish. Uh, you know, Adding more to that is around this whole area of cybersecurity. We understand that there's a worsening, fraud risk scenario, especially around cybersecurity and some of these new age risks which companies are facing, especially for a company like yours, which is so dependent on fintech. How does it figure prominently on your agenda? How do you deal with it? Obviously, there's a way of dealing with it reactively and maybe proactively. So, any suggestions and thoughts around that?
So, Arpinder, as you know, PayU is a large player in the fintech space. We process upwards of $5 billion of payments and transactions in a month, which obviously involves not only handling of money, but actually handling of data. So, in terms of risks, PayU sees all kinds of risks. There is huge data that we manage and maintain. There are merchants, there are fraudulent merchants who are trying to do things which are unlawful, which we would not want to promote in our platform. And there are all kinds of attacks people are trying to make at all times, just so that they get access to any part of our business and can actually make their ends meet. In terms of how do we deal with it, I think we have to clearly have the best in the market so far as technology is concerned, so far as tools are concerned, so far as every single means to manage some of these things are concerned. But really, if you think about it, Arpinder, this is not just about technology, and this is not just about how we take external help. A large part of it is internal, large part of it is also cultural. So every single employee in the company, be it tech, product, business, finance, and some of the control functions, realizes the importance of what they handle and how important and critical it is for us as a business. I think we depend, not just on technologies available, but I think some of the experts in the global team help us. We even go to hackers to actually see if they can find any loopholes in our databases and data centers just to ensure that all parts of business are covered. So it's a lot that goes into managing business risk for our business.
No, thanks a lot for that, Manish. I think you're right. I think with the amount of data you process, cyber risks and hackers are something which are a big risk. And obviously, having hackers defend you also is the best strategy, I feel, because if you have the person inside and you're testing for it, then there's no better test in that scenario. I think also PayU's done so well. So obviously, people have confidence in your platform in while using it. Coming to the next topic, which is connected, Manish, which is data privacy. As you mentioned, you've got a lot of data with you. Obviously, in Europe now, there's the GDPR, and US have their own data privacy regulations. India's own data privacy bill, unfortunately, hasn't yet come out. But just how does an organization like you, where there's large operations are still in India, there's no really data privacy bill, but do you take this very seriously from a data privacy perspective, and how prepared do you think you are for it?
So, Pinder, look, you refer to GDPR, right? It got introduced in the Europe a few years ago. Uh, because we are a global company and we have a very large presence in the European markets, we did a lot of work right at that time to ensure that we remain compliant not only in the regions that it applies to, but elsewhere as well. So clearly, whether there is a data privacy bill that has been passed or not, we have been very, very sensitive about it. So starting from access controls to anonymizing every single data field for whatever purposes we use it, whether it's risk management, whether it's approving transactions or anything like that. I think all parts of our business and people that access data, there are very strict rules that we apply, and there is no single person in the organization who can actually download data as it stays. So really, PayU thankfully has prepared itself much ahead of time, and we believe as the new laws come in, new bill comes in, there is not going to be a lot of challenge that we will see at that point.
So thanks for that, Manish. I think you're right. Cybersecurity and data privacy seem to go hand in hand, and I think both are extremely critical. And understanding the data you have, and I think building controls around it are extremely essential. Right. And I hope our data privacy bill comes out, because I think that'll bring a lot more clarity to organizations operating. But there's a lot of changes happening in India, and I think Manish, your company obviously is the forefront on this. But thanks a lot for spending time with me today. I think it was very enriching, and we look forward to seeing you more in these podcasts in the future.
Thank you so much, Arpinder. I actually enjoyed the whole process, and also got to learn from you, your experiences.
So thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Manish.
Thank you, Arpinder. See you. Bye.